The to-do list is constantly never ending. We're adding new stuff into it all the time, and despite doing a million things in the day, we end the day feeling like we've not accomplished anything at all. And in the middle of all of that, where are we even finding time for our art practice? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Shivani and I'm an artist and productivity nerd based in the sunny city of Chennai in the south of India. Through my channel, I teach you how to improve your skills as a gouache artist and as a creative business owner. Today we're talking all about creativity and productivity. I know that productivity is sometimes considered a bit of a taboo word and people have a negative connotation with it because they think it means like buying into a hustle culture and things like that, but that's not the way I think about it. I really think that being productive with your time helps you improve your creative practice because it gives you the mind space that you need to get into the zone with your creativity. I went on vacation last month and during the course of that I realized that I had been burnt out and I hadn't even realized it. And then I came back with COVID, which made matters worse, but it also gave me a lot of downtime and it gave me time to think and rethink how I was approaching certain aspects of my life. What I realized was that I really needed to rethink the way I was approaching my day-to-day life and the way I was approaching planning my tasks. Here are some of the techniques that I've started incorporating into my life so that I'm able to plan my days better and I'm able to get a lot more done with a lot less work. So the first is planning my weeks in advance in a goal-oriented rather than a task-oriented manner. When we plan our work days, we tend to think of them as tasks that we need to do, and that ends up with ticking a lot of things off your to-do list, but none of them are actually contributing to your big picture goals. They end up just being mundane day-to-day tasks that you're doing without really doing things that are moving the needle in your business. The way I'm approaching that is to first take a step back and look at my entire year and all my goals that I want to accomplish during the course of that year. I then break that down into quarters, which ends up with just 3 to 4 goals that I want to accomplish for the quarter, which are going to really help move the needle in my business. I then break that down by month, and when you do that, you'll realize that you have a max of 1 to 2 goals that you want to achieve in a month. And now it becomes very easy for you to plan your weeks so that you're slowly moving towards that rather than going towards the end of the month and then rushing and then realizing that you've not really done what you wanted to do. So the second thing I'm doing to help with all of that is to give each of the days in my week a theme or a focus. So for example, Monday and Fridays are my CEO days. So those are the days I really deal with emails, I deal with strategy and thinking about big picture things, or if I'm building a product, then those are the days that I would be working on them. This weekly desktop planner that I recently got from a brand called Arkai has been so helpful in this entire process. It has exactly what I need and I've been using it like crazy to plan my weeks. I also have a discount code in case you'd like to check them out. They currently, I think, ship only in India. So customers in India can go ahead and check that out and use my discount code here for 15% off the purchase. And because I am an artist and creating is such an important part of my routine, Tuesdays are my dedicated art day where I focus on creating and I also focus on any kind of learning that contributes to my art practice. Wednesdays are my content day. So today is a Wednesday, which is when I'm shooting this. So I do everything that's required in terms of content strategy and planning, as well as doing my shoots and just scheduling things for YouTube and Instagram. Thursdays are my client day when I sit down with clients one-on-one, work with them, and I also work on other proposals for potential clients, things like that. Anything to do with working with my clients, which could also include some emails. That's also the day that I work on my weekly newsletter, which, by the way, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to it. The link is in the description. So now that I have a theme or focus for my weekdays, I then ensure that I'm not assigning more than 3 major tasks to each work day. That has been something that has been really challenging, of course, because we always want to stuff our to-do list with lots of things. But I realized that by doing less, I'm able to accomplish a lot more because I stay focused on what I need to do and I'm able to give it my all. So I make sure that I don't assign more than 3 important tasks to a day, and also not more than one core task. So my core task is what I consider as the one thing that I have to accomplish in that work day. So let's say I wasn't able to accomplish everything on my to-do list. If I accomplish this one task, I will end the day feeling like it was a good day. So that's also a mindset shift that you need to work on, wherein you need to tell yourself that it's okay if you're not able to achieve everything on your list, but you're able to prioritize and you're able to decide that, okay, this is the one task that no matter what I have to do, and you make sure that whatever happens, you're finishing that, and you will feel satisfied with your day, and whatever you accomplish beyond that is a bonus. What I also found is by doing 3 tasks a day and by giving each work day a specific theme, I'm able to prevent context switching too much. So that's something that I realized was eating up a lot of my time, because I would have, say, 10 different things that I need to do in the workday, and they're all completely unrelated, because every single day I'm trying to do some content, I'm trying to do some client work, I'm trying to do some art, for example. So when I'm doing that, I'm just constantly moving from one entirely different activity to another. I lose time in the process of doing that switch itself. By sticking to one theme in the entire work day, I'm completely aligned towards that theme for the entire day. Even if I need to do a few stray tasks here and there which are unrelated, they are not very cognitively demanding tasks, whereas the major tasks that I'm doing all fall into that one category of tasks. So that really helps me stay focused through the day, and I give each task the time that it requires for me to do a good job of it. And then when I move on to another task, it's still connected, so I don't have to have this entire load of switching over to something completely different. So the next point is time blocking. Again, Arkai has this amazing daily planner which I keep on my desk. Now these 2 planners are on my desk at all times. I was anyway doing time blocking via Google Calendar, but I think having this physical planner on my desk helped me a lot. Firstly, I jot down everything in pencil so that I am able to tweak it during the day if I need to. Supposing something unexpected comes up, or I have some personal task that requires my attention at the time, I can immediately erase something, move it somewhere else, but make sure I'm still doing my 3 core tasks during the day, and I allot certain time blocks to them, and that keeps me focused. So I make sure when I'm doing something that requires my focus, I'm keeping my phone away, I am completely focused on the task at hand, and I don't have any other distractions, because like I said, I'm giving each day a theme. So I know that today is not the day I look into emails too much, so I'm not going to randomly open up my Gmail and get distracted by it. The next thing I want to tell you about is the Pareto principle, which is something everybody who talks about productivity speaks about, which is the 80-20 rule, which states that 80% of your outcomes come from 20% of your causes. Now, what that means as a creator is that you need to analyze your day and understand what are the 80% of your results that are coming from 20% of your activity. So what are those 20% activities that are needle moving in your business or in your life, and try to see how you can delegate or reduce the time that you're spending on the rest of your activities, which could be in the form of automation, it could be in the form of just planning better, like I said, so that you're reducing the time that you spend on unnecessary activities, which are possibly just things that have to get done, like administrative or financial work, but just try to see how you can reduce the amount of time that you're spending on all of that. The next thing is Parkinson's law, which states that work expands or contracts to fit the time that is allotted to it. So this one's very interesting because I have experimented with it a bit. Obviously there's a fine line. You can't assign yourself maybe just half an hour for something that's definitely physically impossible to complete within half an hour. But by allotting specific time blocks, you're able to restrict the amount of time that you're spending on an activity. So I found this to be very profound with my newsletter. When I would assign myself just an indefinite period of time to work on it, I would just overthink it so much and I would not even end up completing it or sending it out on time, because I would be like, no, it's not perfect yet, I am not happy with it, blah 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 blah, all these excuses that we give ourselves, and then I just don't end up completing it. Whereas when when I assign myself Thursdays 1 hour in the morning is meant for my newsletter, the last 2 weeks I've just very smoothly been able to finish them within that time and just schedule them and get them out. So I think just giving yourself those constraints sometimes is actually very freeing, which is what I was speaking about earlier. Being productive with your time is counterintuitively very conducive to being creative. And the final thing I want to tell you, which don't underestimate the importance of it, it is to be kind to yourself. It's so easy for us to just spiral and go into this habit of beating ourselves up because we just feel like we're not doing enough. And it's so easy to just feel like that all the time. But I have been there and I would not wish that upon anybody else. That's just a horrible mental space to be in, and it blocks you. It blocks you creatively. It blocks you from being the person that you really want to be, and it blocks you from making time for all the things that you really want to be making time for. Realize at the end of the day that all of this is just work, and it's not the end of the world. Even if you didn't accomplish something that you wanted to, there's always tomorrow. So don't worry. That's not to say be complacent or procrastinate. That's not what I'm telling you. Obviously try your best, but at the end of the day, have the mental strength to walk away and say, I'm done for today. I couldn't accomplish 1 or 2 things, but that's completely fine. I'll do it tomorrow. Creativity is a practice. Creativity is about showing up on the blank page even when you don't feel like it. It's about discipline and consistency. We are so tempted to always say, I will do it when I feel like it, or I need to be in the zone. But I find that all of those just tend to be excuses. If you really want to be making time for your creativity, it's something that you consciously need to make an effort towards, and you need to make time for it on your schedule. So if it's something that's important to you, schedule it and make sure that at that time, regardless of what happens, you're sitting there in front of the blank sheet and you're ready to create. Even if you don't feel like it, just do whatever comes to mind, because really, what's the harm? What's the harm even if you create something that isn't great? We're just so scared of creating work that isn't great, and I don't see why, because who's going to judge you, right? If you don't want to show something on the internet, don't show it on the internet. Keep it for yourself. But every single time you lift up your paintbrush or whatever your medium of choice is, every single time you put that on the blank sheet, you're learning, and that cannot be replaced by anything else. So I just want to urge you to make time for your practice no matter what. Just make that a habit. Try out simple productivity techniques to see what works best for you. The journey of a creative or an artist is very different from other professions. So don't try to fit any kind of mold. Just try out multiple productivity techniques and see what works best for you. Just because something works for me doesn't mean that it will necessarily work for you, because our circumstances are completely different. It's completely fine to test and tweak, which is what I've been doing for months, till you land on a system that works for you. To plan my tasks and my projects, I use a tool called Notion. So you can check out this video right here if you'd like to see my entire Notion setup and how I plan my business and my life with it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel below and leave a comment telling me which point in this video resonated the most with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.